Welcome to Shaggyshane's Kansas City Chiefs Training Camp Report, Saturday, August 5th, 2017. We took our report inside to Mama Garden, Nolan Road, Independence, Missouri, because it started raining at training camp, and quite frankly, Lance, it's no fun to sit in the rain and do these. You know Lance, my right-hand man when he's not on my left, Lance Twidwell from the Spoken. Lance, what I took away from today's training camp that I really was glad to see was Terrence Mitchell. A lot of people were concerned about his hamstring issue that he suffered last week. He was out doing individual drills. Ray Miller, 6'3", 318 defensive tackle. He was doing individual drills as well. He's a defensive tackle that the Chiefs are going to be brought in for depth purposes, but if he can play behind Boone Logan this season, that's going to help out the Chiefs because of the fact that Dontari Poe's gone, and the Chiefs need depth at that position. What did you take away from today's camp, Lance?
Well, I'm still wringing out my beard currently from all that wetness that we experienced out there, so that wasn't so exciting. But overall, man, my expectations stay consistent, especially early in training camp. Is what I want to see is I just want to see the execution from the young players. I want to see the guys that are coming in, you know, early on to be an actual contributor to this team for this year and for years to come in here with the same mentality. Training camp can be very deceiving at times. I think that we get very excited. We overhype sometimes a player. We get too critical. I've definitely been accused of that. But I think that more than anything, this team is coming together at the right time. And I know it sounds very cliche, but something I have to give Andy Reid and his entire coaching staff and Brett Veach and the guys up above, they have this team, I think, very, very confident coming into this training camp. They have belief in themselves. And I think, like I said, these last couple of drafts have really solidified the talent on this team. And I really am excited to see what's to come of these young players, to see guys like Tyreek Hill become really an established #1 wide receiver, to see these young practice squad players really going out there and earning their stripes against veterans, to see guys like Justin Houston making an impact again, to see Derek Johnson back on the field like we talked about in our last video, going out there swatting a pass down from Alex Smith, making plays, and to see execution like that early on is a definite relief to see early on in training camp.
Yes, Derek Johnson is back, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Houston is back, as we talked about last week. Today we saw Patrick Mahomes taking more snaps with the 11-on-11 with the second string. Check out the video on Red Tribe Cinema and Lance's Facebook or Lance's Twitter. What's your Twitter handle again?
At Lance the Spoken.
Check out the highlights there for yourself and see for yourself. Lance, there were some concerns from last week from the people asking questions about Mahomes starting week 1. That's something you went out on a limb, something that you said you wanted to see. The questions that we have, and I want you to answer them right now. The questions that we have were, he's not going to be 22 until next month. He just graduated high school 3 years ago. He's a project. He's something. He's not going to be ready. It's going to be a disaster. What do you say to the naysayers or people that disagree with you respectfully on that issue when it comes to Patrick Mahomes?
Well, I mean, I understand it. I understand that there is a definite cause for concern because, first of all, this is something like we all talked about at training camp today. This is something that is so new to so many Chiefs fans out there. There's people out there with 2 kids and a mortgage that have never seen the Chiefs draft a quarterback in the first round. So there's a cultural change. There's something different in the air, and Chiefs fans don't really know how to understand it or receive it at this point. I get that. I understand the concern. There's also the Chiefs fans that believe that you can't throw him out there too early because it'll ruin him. I totally understand it, and you know what? There actually is that risk. There actually is that chance of happening. I can understand that. But what I also understand is I see the upside in this guy. I see what this guy is capable of. I see the arm. I see the talent. I see the self-awareness. I see the wherewithal, the understanding of what it takes to become an NFL quarterback. I see that in Patrick, and I don't want to see it be wasted 1 year, 2 years. I don't want to see it. I want to see him go out there immediately. And like I said in our last video, and I'll say it again, and I stick by it, he's not getting thrown into a bad situation. This is one of the more talented rosters in football that's only getting more and more talented. And it's coached by one of the best coaches in the NFL. So you put him in that position, you put him in that type of environment, if he fails, it's because he's not good enough. It's not because he doesn't have enough around him. And I don't believe, as I just touched on, that he's going to be someone that's going to fail because he's not good enough. He has the talent. He has the capabilities. And I think he's the type of guy that can start week 1. And I truly believe in a few years, when we're all looking back and we're seeing this guy leading us to playoff wins, we're going to look back and say, man, it was kind of ridiculous thinking that he wasn't able to start week 1. I know it's probably not going to happen. I get that. I would like to see Alex Smith get traded. I'd like to see him out of here because I think it takes away that cloud for Mahomes to be able to become who he is faster and quicker than most people expect. It's probably not going to happen, and I accept that. But I still, if you're asking me in my opinion when I'd like to see Pat, it's yesterday.
There you go, Lance Twidwell of the Spoken breaking it down. I myself, in my opinion, I would like to see Patrick Mahomes take over week 6 or week 7. That way he can watch how Alex Smith played the first 6 or 7 games of the season. He can see what he does under circumstances, like what did Alex Smith do when he saw a single high safety look and he was concerned about that linebacker blitzing. I want Mahomes to be able to view that for the first 6 or 7 weeks, but if Mahomes is starting week 1, we'll see what happens. For Lance Twidwell of the Spoken, this is Shaggyshane. We'll be back Friday night breaking down the Chiefs and the 49ers preseason game. Until next time, as with Lance Twidwell, Shaggyshane, go Chiefs.